All right, let's dive into it. So let's talk about the economy. So some disturbing new economic numbers out today show how we may be facing the worst economic crisis since the Great Recession. A couple of key data points that we want to talk about. The first and probably the most important data point is out this afternoon. It relates to consumer spending. People are just not spending money because they don't have money, and the money they do have is worth less than it was a year ago. So that's not good. Here's Zero Hedge this afternoon showing just how bad it's getting for consumers who are just tapping out, saying enough is enough. I can't afford anything right now. The consumer is tapping out. Ever since inflation entered the financial system in early 2021, there has been a debate as to whether or when the higher cost of living would hit consumer spending to the point of inducing a recession. Sure, consumers can rely on savings or credit to make ends meet in the near term. However, if inflation remains elevated for a prolonged period, eventually it becomes too much to bear, and the consumer is forced to tap out and cut discretionary expenses. That's when a recession hits. So, people are tapping out.
Yes, and we see this right ahead of the holiday season. And when you look at last week, we saw so many third quarter reports of all of the major companies. None of them were stellar. And so a lot of these companies are really banking on a big Q4, and it looks like they may not get it. And they've already warned us that layoffs are coming, which means those could be exacerbated by this news.
Yeah, it's crazy. So let's talk about oil and gas prices, because this is another big piece of this, right? So you might have noticed a nice $1 per barrel drop recently. You might have been like, oh, really excited about this right after the midterm election. Like, timing is interesting on that too, isn't it? Like, why suddenly drop $10? Well, the holiday is over and they are set to skyrocket. You have OPEC Plus just rebutting a rumor that oil production was about to take off. I don't know where this rumor started, but people got excited about this. Brent crude falling below $85 for the first time since the end of September, as Saudi Arabia and other OPEC countries were reported to be discussing an output increase. Okay, they were reportedly talking about an output increase. But OPEC says, no, sorry, that's not true. That's a total lie. I don't know where the media ran with this story, by the way. Energy reporter Amina Bakar says that's a lie. Saudi Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Al Salman categorically denies recent reports that Saudi Arabia is discussing with other OPEC producers an output increase of $500,000 barrels per day. So no, that's not happening.
This is the same Prince where we showed you him speaking to a Reuters reporter, remember, about a month ago at an OPEC meeting and saying, right, I don't want to talk to Reuters. You keep misquoting me, and I'm tired of it. And so this is him again saying, I don't know where this comes from. Just listen to what I say because I'm not parsing words. That guy, he's so tired of clarifying himself.
Yeah, that's true. And worse is that these prices are set to explode because Russia just this afternoon said under no circumstances would it sell oil to nations that set a price cap on their oil. Here's looking at you, Europe and the United States, with your ridiculous Russian sanctions. Remember, this is the exact same scenario that we covered on the show a month ago, where JP Morgan says that if the United States and Europe put price caps on Russian oil, it will send prices over $200 a barrel, which means skyrocketing gas and petrol prices, right? So what are the prices? I'm just curious, what are the prices where people live right now? Like, let us know in the chat, how much are you paying for oil prices or for gas prices right now? What about you, David? What are you guys paying out where you guys live? You're in Alaska.
I'm in Washington. Yeah, I'm in Washington State. We can see Alaska from here, but I'm in Washington State, and we're paying about $4.60 still, $4.65, I believe, was the last time I was at the gas station.
What are we seeing here right now?
It's high. It's like almost $2.10 a liter.
Yeah.
Where it has been fluctuating down in some of the better days down to maybe $1.70. So it's really jumping around a lot. It really depends on the day.
DS277 says TV dinners, where that person is from, went from $2.99 to $4.99. Geez, Savannah in Rumble says $4.20 in Pennsylvania. Terry Britton says $3.25 in North Carolina. Joe Martinez.
Yeah, in Finland also, they're saying $2.20 a liter for diesel, so around the same prices as we're paying here.
Jeez.
In Portugal, it's a lot. 179 a liter in Belfast. Those are on the lower end now. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Spain, South Spain, 177 to $2 a euro approximately per liter.
Yeah.
Someone says liters mean nothing to me. I know. I can't
it takes some while. It takes some time to get used to that.
I'm still stuck on inches and centimeters, even though we live in Europe.
Well, so it's about 4 liters to the gallon, close to that. So I guess if we quadrupled that, that'd be close to $6 euros a gallon.
Wow. So Turkish President Erdogan said this afternoon that Europe is going to pay a very high price for isolating Russia. Yeah, you think? You're watching it in action right now. So take a look at some of these prices. Anti-Russian sanctions have become a decisive factor. Up the previous slide. 34.5% industrial inflation in Germany in October. Anti-Russian sanctions have become a divisive factor in high industrial inflation. Price increases, gas prices up 151.2%. Electricity 131.7%. Fertilizer, fuel oil, petroleum products. That is crazy. Fertilizer, yeah, that's what happens when you take fertilizer away. You force out farmers, right? And of course,
think about that. Think about the butterfly effect of that. The fertilizer goes up. The gas prices is up for the people that are going to be delivering food that grows in that fertilizer. The cost for the seeds that they're buying, the seeds to put in that fertilizer are up, which means that you're getting more and more. Like, it's going to be outrageously expensive to get anything because that touches every part of our food system.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You're so right.
It's crazy. And then then you think about how all this is playing out. According to Russian business news, India and China are buying oil with a 30% discount right now. They're getting a great discount because they're not putting in crazy sanctions. So this is Russian. This is in Russian, what you're seeing on your screen here. I just wanted to show any of our viewers who can read Russian. You can take a moment and read it. For those of you that can't, here's the translated version. So according to Reuters estimates, India has been buying Russian coal for an average of $16.5 million a day for the past 3 weeks. This is more than twice its daily volume of purchases. And if we skip down to the bottom paragraph, this is more than 3 times more they spent than before that. 31.6 million daily, according to Reuters. Offshore divisions of Russian coal traders are offered discounts of 25% to 30% on raw materials to India and China. So they're getting good deals, while the rest of the world right now is getting screwed because of Russian sanctions. So, hey, they made good deals with, pays, I guess, to be a part of the BRICS nations right now.
Yeah, and this is the price you pay if you decide to be involved in a country that likes to get involved in wars.
It's crazy. If you subscribe to the channel, your name will pop up here on the big screen, by the way.
You know what I noticed today? That one petroleum-based product that has not gone up in prices is, you remember we were at the store and I went looking for the Vaseline?
Vaseline.
Yeah, and I was like, this is probably going to be so expensive because it is a byproduct of fossil fuels. Yeah. And it was like $1.99 for a little tub. And I was like,
you know why? They probably have warehouses all over the world just completely stacked to the gild in that stuff because it's just good for so many things. So somebody thought ahead and it's like, there's a shelf life is forever. So let's just stock it.
It's like Latin women everywhere putting it on their hands and feet at night.
I love every time when I was growing up, I'd get a cut or a bruise. I put on Vaseline and boom, it was like gone.
I've never used it as a curative.
Oh my gosh. It was, you know what I couldn't stand? I know this is going to make me sound like a weakling, but I hate it. It's like one of those like little pet peeves. I hate when I get like a hangnail. I know this is like, but I don't know, it'd be dry and you get the blood and rip, and I hate that. So what the best cure? Little Vaseline on there.
Okay.
Little Vaseline takes it right away. You don't even feel it anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Does
cool.
Anyone else with me, or am I the only one here?
I'm gonna do that because I got one right now. Like if you go to my full shot, Kevin, right here on my thumb.
Oh, that's
I got one.
I couldn't handle that.
Those are manly.
Yeah.
You must have gotten those from twisting in your microphones and things.
Yeah.
Right. From playing your Nintendo Switch, you must have gotten
it's the dry season.
Upside down.
Right.
I make no apologies for liking to have some extra Vaseline, to put on my hands and feet. So, yeah.
And all those adolescent boys out there. Yeah.
Don't make gross jokes.
Terry Britton says Clayton is such a baby. I'm with you. I know it's not like that. It's painful, but it's one little pet peeve. I also hate having like the nail broken off where it gets caught on cotton.
Nobody likes that.
Like, oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. I can't handle it.
You know what? Your haircut looks like Bob Saget a little bit.
Bob Saget. I didn't really, after the haircut, when they cut it and then they do the thing, and then I'm like, I didn't really do much with it like how I normally would.
It looks good though. There's a lot of body in it still.
It's a little high and tight. Anyway, no, there's no Vaseline in my hair, by the way. So yeah, that's the deal. If you're a BRICS nation members right now, you're getting good deals with Russia, and the United States and Europe are getting screwed big time. And then you have out of touch White House, which told us right before the midterms that we would eliminate fossil fuels and stop drilling. Right, this was what President Biden promised when he was in New York. He's like, we're not drilling anymore. No.
That's why I'm stocking up on the Vaseline. I'm telling you.
Meanwhile, this is going to be the most expensive Thanksgiving ever in the history of the United States. That's not hyperbolic. Literally, the most expensive Thanksgiving in U.S. history is about to unfold this week. President Biden, of course, doing his little annual turkey trot out there.
Was that someone's dog or the turkey?
I don't know if it was a turkey or a dog. I don't know. But anyway.
That was the dog.
They do these ridiculous turkey pardon garbage, and the little dog and pony show thing and whatever. They're pardoning the two turkeys. They go live in a farm in upstate New York and whatever.
Where do they get that big white turkey?
I don't know.
Nice
anyway,
genetically bred turkey.
So 1 in 3 Americans now say they are not going to celebrate Thanksgiving dinner because they can't afford to. 1 in 3 Americans say they're not going to do that. They just can't afford it right now.
Wow, that's...
And no wonder you've seen all these Black Friday deals. They're not just Black Friday, they're Black 2 weeks.
Yes.
Like, it's been Black Friday now for 2 weeks. I don't know where you are. Even though it's Monday, it's Black Friday somewhere. Because all of these sales, they want to extend them as much as they can right now to kind of capture as much flies in the ointment and the petroleum jelly as they can. Because
we can go on all night on this, you guys.
And with Vaseline, you can. So here's our friend Peter Doocy to explain. He was at the White House, and he was explaining how these prices have gone up. Watch this.
Yes, they're going to have the big turkey pardoning here in about 15 minutes, Sandra. And ahead of that, we can look at how much the rest of the turkeys, except the 2 that are going to be spared, are costing. And there's just no way to avoid paying significantly more if you're buying the staples for Thanksgiving. A 16-pound turkey is going for $28.96. That is up 21% from last year. A 14-ounce bag of cubed stuffing mix is $3.88. That is up 69%. And 2 frozen pie crusts are going for $3.68. That is up 26%. According to the Farm Bureau, all those arrows are pointing up. But President Biden keeps insisting that things are coming down.
Yeah, and at the White House press briefings, they're fine. Things are coming down.
Can I just give you a little tip? Because that cubed stuffing mix, you can do yourself. Just buy a really cheap loaf of bread, cut it up, and leave it out for a day.
Chicken stock.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to put all the stuff you normally put in it, with your family. Please don't put cranberries. That's super offensive. In stuffing. But yeah, if you should not be paying $4 for a box of stovetop stuffing when you can just get a loaf of bread.
And I did try. I took the feather and put it in the Instant Pot. Didn't work.
No,
you didn't get a turkey?
Did not work.
Oh, man.
Sorry about that.
With a wet, soggy, nasty feather.
You did it wrong.
So
compost that.
You're doing it wrong.
I must have. Yeah.
So here's the Farm Bureau numbers. This is from the Farm Bureau. Here, just look at the total numbers. Up 20% compared to 2021. Turkey up, 16-pound turkey, $28.
Whoa, someone in the chat just said 57 for their turkey.
Holy smoke. Look at cranberries. Look at this. Sweet potatoes, carrots and celery, dinner rolls, whipping cream, $2.24. Whole milk. Look at that. $3.84. Pumpkin pie mix.
Whoa.
Look at that. Pumpkin pie mix.
$4.28 for one can?
I mean, this is why so many people are saying that they just can't afford to do it right now. I don't blame them. It's ridiculous.
And I eat a little bit more. Like, I like free range and stuff like that. Like, the turkey that I was looking at was $129. And my raw milk is $14.65 a gallon.
Wow.
We're reading a book right now called Apocalypse Never by Michael Schellenberger, and one of the things, there's a whole big chapter about free range and how you might be getting scammed. And it might not be as healthy as you actually think it is.
Oh my gosh, this book, I spent so much time like turning my nose up at farm-raised salmon before this book. And I was like, all this time, so many times I would go to Trader Joe's and be like, they don't have it. I'm going to go to Whole Foods then. Like, what a dope I was.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I woke up like in 2012, there was a restaurant called a BurgerFi, I believe it was. And it said, we have grass-fed meat. And I was like, oh, that's good. I want to eat grass-fed meat. And so it said all vegetarian diet. So what I found out is they say these words and it doesn't really mean what they said, because what they were saying is it's grass-fed, but then when it goes to the mill to be processed, they feed it genetically modified corn and all that other stuff. So they can technically say vegetarian fed. So they have all of these little marketing tactics that they do, and that's a thing that's not really regulated either. What they can say on a lot of this stuff where it's saying all natural and all that really doesn't mean what anybody thinks it does.
Right. And so some of the ways that they treat the animals, if they're not free range, might be preferable, but we just are not allowed to know these types of things. And it's really eye-opening, especially when you think, well, I really fell for all of that. Everything I read and I was told, like, okay, only grass-fed. Okay, I'll do that. Right. And so anyway.
So then there's also the issue of the credit card debt. So now look at this numbers. These numbers are just staggering here. This is the personal savings versus credit card debt, which is skyrocketing right now. So, and the people can try to spin this. So that red line is credit card debt versus personal savings rate in green. So red is credit card debt, personal savings rate in green. Now people could try to spin this and say, well, right now, people are maybe trying to take advantage of the airline points. I saw somebody on Twitter saying that earlier today. Like, well, it just could be, it's somebody, people just be taking care of the cash back options right now, the airline points.
What?
So they're putting all of their expenses on credit cards. How many people believe that? Raise your hand. Say yes or no in the chat right now. Do you believe that? That everyone just decided, we're going to take advantage of these cash back bonus points. So that's why we're running up credit card debt. I don't for a second believe that's the case. I believe people can't afford stuff. This is what I went through when I was in my 20s. I couldn't afford anything, so I ran up my credit card. I got in massive credit card debt and had to claw my way out of it. It took me years to do it because I wasn't making enough money. It wasn't like I wanted to take advantage of airline points.
No, it's literally that there's too much month at the end of the money.
Right.
People cannot live on the salaries that they have right now. And this chart tracks with what we were told during the pandemic is that, people, saved up some money because they're not going places. They paid off credit card debt with their stimulus money. But that only lasted, you can see, when this chart intersected at just right before June of 2021.
Right.
When cost of living started to skyrocket and savings plans were being deleted. And now look at this. This is the biggest gap in between debt and assets that we've seen in the last decade. This is a mind-boggling chart. I
see a lot of people on Rumble saying, Kislar says nope. Stu Rumble says nope. Der Deed says LOL, nope. Scotty Adams from Vermont.
What was the question?
The question is, do you believe that it's all these people just taking advantage of our credit card points? Scott Adams in Vermont says no dice. Over on YouTube, Costa Cree says no way. Nope. So people aren't buying this. There was one person that said maybe, but I don't know about that person. Maybe.
I don't think that this is anything fun, these purchases.
No. I mean, this is why. So, one of the big pieces we didn't really touch on is the coming layoffs, which that's arguably what's coming next. As we've talked about here on the show, over 50% of major Fortune 500 companies say they're in the process of layoffs after the new year. In 2023, layoffs. So after this holiday rush and after the temporary and the sort of seasonal hiring, January, February is when we're going to see massive layoffs. And we're already seeing a lot of it in Silicon Valley. We're already seeing it in Facebook, and we know what happened to Twitter. But there's quite a few, even Apple, Google layoffs. There's a lot of layoffs. You've been covering it in the newsletter quite a bit on some of these layoffs. So it's going to get worse. You're seeing it at Ford. You're seeing it at other places as well. So not just in Silicon Valley, but in manufacturing and automobile as well.
We continue to hear warnings too. Jeff Bezos again over the weekend is saying, "Don't buy fun things. This is not the time for that." So, if
he can tell us that why he just bought a massive yacht,
right?
Like his brand new yacht. Like, hey, all of you guys out there, don't buy any fun things. But I'm going to go and check on my yacht that I just ordered, making sure that they can get out of dry dock in the UK or wherever the hell it was.
That's probably business. It's not a fun thing for him.
We've got more news to get to here on this Monday.